Coming at you live from a little bit earlier than usual comes our 6th round of the championship, halfway here at Zandvoort. Very, very excited for this track. It is a ton of fun to drive. Iconic in the world of Formula 1, but plenty good for these little FF1600 machines. They take on the banking like no other. And we're going to have a close, tight and competitive race. A single split for the 2.7k SOF. It's tough out there. I sure as hell aren't fast. Hopefully we'll see some excellent lapping out from our competitors. Slightly earlier than usual time, running a bit of an experiment. Tried to warn as many people in advance as we can. Did have the feeling a little bit that the 9 p.m. UK time was becoming problematic for Europeans. Think about it, they're doing it 10:45 p.m. They're not racing. So we're giving this a try for a week or two. Accepting feedback on the community server as ever, but the aim is to make sure as many regulars are participating as possible. And on the topic of those regulars, I do have some championship standings for you as they stand. Now, these are going to differ slightly from the ones you see on the Duncan Watts website. This is because I'm factoring in the drop weeks already. A few people have dropped a few weeks or two. They'll come eventually. They'll come eventually. There we go. Just takes a little bit of a change. Daniel Tuff's by far the fastest. And he's very, very far ahead if you don't consider the drops. Istad and Cash with good finishes could take something good from him on Howie Burrows. And welcome to the show. Oh, lots to go over in one go. And a bit more to go over as well, I think. It's been a busy week for the 1600s. We have an almost finalized season schedule for next season, and it is a good one. Many thanks to Adam Miles for getting the gang together on very, very short notice. And who is that? It's a name that I only recognize. Tim Hendrickson of the Skip Barbers. With his 8k I rating, he's here to prove that he is not the just a Skip Barber one trick. Finally getting away from the British tracks. Maybe does that to you sometimes. Don't really laps on the board right now. I managed to join in right in time for the qualifying, but we'll catch the laps as soon as they fly in. We have quite a big grid, 18 cars, and we have been splitting throughout the week. It's been a great week. And tracks like this are only the beginning in the coming season. I think there could be a last-minute change or two, but next season expect to see. And that's my, it's unofficial, my proviso show of, it's not literally 110% confirmed, and you can't sue me if I'm wrong. But expect to see Alton Park, Red Bull Ring, Summit Point, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Laguna Seca, Long Beach, VAR, Bathurst, Sonoma, Oschersleben and Donington. A bunch of classics there. A bunch of free classics, I gotta say, but nothing but a classic schedule to get people back into these cars. I voted Fruxton. We saw no love for Fruxton at all, which is my personal disappointment, but you can't get everything you want in life. Tim Hendrickson about to cross the line for his first qualifying lap. We're going to see an absolute flood of them in now, so I have no idea if I'm looking at the fastest one. Ian Joyner crossed the line right now, just a bit faster, 1:43.8 is Christopher Cash, 1:44.76. Alexander Istad back on the line, 44.5. Daniel Tuffs was able to jump both of them for P3. Owen Paul, we got quite a big field here. Owen Paul in 8th, Peter Maddox in 10th. Patrick Bardet in 11th, John Young in 12th. Still plenty to go. And Daniel Tuffs is going to need a good run to secure this pole. I think everyone's going to be just a little bit faster. These predictions are a little bit dodgy. We know this. A little bit off. But it really is quite the smooth, undulating thrill ride. It really was built for Formula cars, this circuit. As drivers fly up and down the dunes and then take on the challenging middle sector. It's trickier than you'd think to keep the car secure around there. I often understeer and oversteer in the final few corners of the track. Here they come. Watch the sausage. Don't eat the sand pit on your hardest corner on the track. And on a car without wings, you have to make the best of mechanical grip. And I'm not sure Tufts has had a good enough start to the lap to beat his own standing. Tim Hendrickson crosses the line. It's still not faster than Ian Joyner. They both get faster laps than their last, but Joyner stays out in first. Tufts not going faster. Beaten out by Cash. It's going to be a real dogfight off the grid, though. Drivers not separated by much. Here's Nick Aronson. Jumps up a few. Few drivers that are brand new to the broadcast on this time slot. I should have practiced. Zezelmans. Can't do it. Hugo Zezelmans. That's what we're going with. Zezelmans. We're going with it. He's P15. John Young has finished a second lap. Everyone else now running practice laps to finish off their qualifying. Still a few yet to even hit the grid. Graham, Rory Hunt, David Whitehouse, Jeff Marionetti, and Stuart McCann. Yet to hit the grid. Everyone here is just practicing their glory runs, I think. And you may want to. Here's Joyner. He's got pole secured. And what a good 2 laps from him. Last week was very much dominated by a good P1 and run away with it strategy. Tufts sitting a row back is going to have to really fight if he wants to repeat that performance again. Gyro cam, very, very fun on the top of that car. These laps unofficial now, although I believe that would have been a fastest for Hendrickson, according to my overlay. That was a very, very fast lap. I don't get the official result of it down. I do. It was a 43.67. Lap 3 would have been pole. Unfortunately, not valid. Here's Mark F. Knight also dropping in some practice laps. Looks like the remaining drivers are not going to run their qualifying laps, and we have a starting grid secured for 20 minutes. Not too many laps around this circuit, actually. Not too many. It is full Grand Prix length. No horrible chicane on the back. You did not have me with the chicane. That was not a fun prank. You know exactly how that happened. Rowan Gory Hunt, David Whitehouse, Jeff Marionetti, and Stuart McCann fill out the rest of the rows for 18 cars. And that makes the grid as follows. Ian Joyner starts on pole with Tim Hendrickson side by side. Good lap by Joyner. Good 2/10 gap. In front of Christopher Cash and Daniel Tufts, who've got much closer laps to each other, but still far off the front. Daniel Brown in 5th with Alex Istad in 6th. My overlay has decided it's not interested anymore. Nick Aronson and Lewis Lagrave in 10th. Patrick Bardet is actually 9th, right next to Owen Paul in 10th. Almost got it. Peter Maddox sits in 11th with John Young in 12th. Hugo Zezelmans in 13th with Mark Knight in 14th. Still more some waiting for some drivers to grid. Graham Gory Hunt sits 15th with David Whitehouse in 16th. Jeff Marionetti sits 17th with Stuart McCann in 18th, and that should be our whole grid. Those engines really do like to purr. 20 minutes should be around 12 laps here. 12 chances to dive bomb turn 1 and take someone out, perhaps. All drivers are gridded. And And we're ready to go green on Barney the Flagman. There it goes. Big single file run down the left-hand side for most drivers, but it's almost a jump in by Ian Joyner on the inside line. Just about misses his chance. Our 4 remain steady. Daniel Tuff stopping out of line already to try and get a move done on Istad. It's going to be a little bit of slipstream around here. Tufts goes high. Cash just about holds him off. And is already at Rex. I see a required repairs flag. That's Patrick Bardet. Heard some complaints about it as well. We'll catch replays when we have a moment as Ian Joyner has to hold off Tim Hendrickson to hold off his series trophy. Tim Hendrickson, usually a Skip Barber driver. You could say he's invading right now. Nonetheless, he's here to try and claim that P1, and he looks like he's going to get it right up the inside. Still side by side on exit. I think Hendrickson has the pace, but the inside is good going down onto this back straight. And it's going to hand it by my eyes to Hendrickson. Daniel Tuff's not too far from sending it through. He's going to hold back. This top pack already strike me as a racy one. They strike me as one that are going to keep it pretty close and pretty tight for the whole race. Gravel getting kicked up the whole by the whole field. Half car detection on that gravel. And Joyner's ready to make the slipstream happen and try and take back that P1. You can make a runaway here if you do it right and do it successfully. He has the run into entry. It's forced Hendrickson quite wide. Tuff's not able to take advantage. But the outside line is fast around this banked turn. Maybe less fast without the aero advantage. I see Tuff's all over the rear, and I think he's ready to make the dive side by side. Hendrickson wants to take the lead back from Joyner on the outside. So sweeping around it, even having momentum might not help you out too much, as they're still almost touching wheels across the continent. Still no clear leader, but this inside line, the left-hand side through the middle sector, going into what is usually the Deccan DRS straight, is advantageous, and Hendrickson takes it again. Tuff's not miles off. Joyner makes a dive. Just about keeping it on the track for Hendrickson. Now side by side behind. And Hendrickson could make the run here if he gets a good run out these final 2 corners. Joyner's been held up by Tuffs now. And there might not be that slipstream opportunity. In fact, I see Cash potentially becoming a part of this melee. It's Cash and Istad 2 cars behind. 2 wide for 2 rows. That's given a lot of room for Tim Hendrickson. It's Lewis Lagreve who actually gets the fastest lap of the race. Tuff's really stuck it for quite some time with Joyner, but he backs out. Almost like a little bit of wheel spin, but nothing significant among these 4. This is very much a make or break lap for Hendrickson. If he can break away right now, he could take a victory that nobody quite saw coming. But I like to see the blue and the orange. It's nostalgic. Reminds me of better days. Hendrickson probably needs to be out of half a second here in order to have a good chance of making the breakaway by the start-finish straight. It's tough because the slipstream is pretty decent. I think there's a lapped car already up the road. It is Patrick Bardet. He was in the lap 1 wreck. Still have yet to find a way to catch that. Seemed like quite a big one. Wiped out multiple drivers. Peter Maddox in there as well. Peter Maddox woke up at 4 a.m. to get car contacted and meatballed. I was wondering where we went. He promised he was coming. Side by side again. You see that slipstream? I think Tim Hendrickson will just about have the exit speed, but this lap car's really in the way here, Patrick Bardet. It's hard to give proper space in this section, but he's going to stay low. Everyone's going to fly high. And that's finally going to be declared. Arguably, that lap car held off that overtake, but there weren't many 2 places for him to go. And it's going to extend this battle out a bit. It's not really what anyone here wanted to see. Still plenty of time to change fate. Still in the field, trying to not wreck someone along the way. Top 4 separated by a second. Well, less than it, in fact. Alexander Istad isn't really losing this train. Ian Joyner, he's got a very good run. I doubt we'll see the dive bomb through here, but this makes the start-finish run very, very enticing. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in and out. Don't you wish they had DRS on these funny little things? Istad very wide there. He's lost even more time, and he could be out of a second from Cash. Here comes Joyner, and that's about the draft pass we expected to happen. Cash wasn't able to make it happen behind. Further back here, Nick Aronson's leading a special train here with Nano Brown, who's going to sneak it into the outside line. Up ahead, it's pretty relentless between these 3, but it's still no major trade. Tim was able to win out in the braking zone. Ian thinks he can make it through the inside here, but now the outside of this turn sort of sends you the long way around. Amazing they've been able to run this close without serious car contact. Notable that any Spanish or Portuguese drivers couldn't be here. There aren't too many of them, but big power cuts still affecting the region. They'll be back pretty soon, but it's been a bit of a calamitous day for the Iberian drivers. They might have had to cancel Iberian skippies. 4 in a row. Istad hasn't completely lost them, actually. Made up 2 tenths. That's a spinner up ahead. As Erwin Paul, I think he self-spun himself. In fact, clearing way for the Big Four, who I think are going to drive this Skippy style and play it pretty safe until a bold and outrageous final lap. Hendrickson knows to skip Babacar. Well, he knows if he's being drafted down these start-finish straights, sometimes you just give them up and you get them back later. Joyner's taken the run, but he can't give up too much time because obviously there's a bunch of piranhas snapping at his heels. And the right-hand side is pretty advantageous here, but a little nudge, and there's Tufts going round, self-spinning there. Under his own power on the banking, he's able to keep it together without too many victims, but he's going to have to run some monster laps behind. In the chaos, Istad's able to pass Cash. The P3. Approaching the halfway mark now. On lap 6 of 12. Here's Whitehouse, just got passed by Stuart McCann, trying to catch who else is running close, because we're having a very similar train back here. Led by Tufts now. He's 2 seconds back on Cash. He's got a big gap to make up in time. It's going to take some outrageous laps, and he wasn't able to set those in qualifying to begin with. So he sort of started on the back foot and ended up on the back foot. Nonetheless. Joyner hasn't done much running this season, though. I wonder if the time slot was affecting him. So this is hardly a championship-affecting battle up front. But they want the glory of an SOF win. And Joyner's going to get that run. Will he be able to hold it this time? He struggled a few times. Hendrickson always keeps him very, very honest on the outside. As Cash is able to pass back Istad in much the same way. But Hendrickson's very, very, very good at holding that outside and keeping Joyner out of it. It could be a drag race to the line by the estimation here. That's how it makes me feel. Let's take a look at Erwin Paul and Patrick Barday on lap 1. Because there was a very, very big wreck here. This is what claimed Maddox as well. Not sure where it starts. Oh, it's a bit of a clipping there. The 14 spins. And then even more. Oh! Owen Paul gets cleared into the fence. That was Peter Maddox that was spun around. Maybe this is why he'll be ruining the day. This is what he wakes up at 4 AM for. Maddox in the red. He is sort of steering quite hard across there into someone else's wheel well. That's what... That's the estimation I take away. That's the estimation I take away. And everything else was just sort of a consequence of it. The battle continues up front, but it's been very much a game of trading places. This time Hendrickson has the inside line. I have a feeling he's been able to make both work during this race, though. And that outside gives you so much momentum for the banked run that he keeps it anyway. Well off Cash now, who's a 1.5 seconds plus behind. And Tuff's not really making up ground because the two teams ahead are draft training each other. Is John Young in P10. Stuart McCann not far back on David Whitehouse. Plenty of drivers having their own little back and forth chases. But every lap, every chance, there's been an opportunity for Joyner to take that lead going into turn 1. He has not left the first sector with it. Over and over again. In fact, I might have to use this as my estimation to work out how much of a drag race to the line it's going to be. We can keep an eye on them running to the line here as we approach lap 9. Joyner could win this race on the line, you know. And if I'm Hendrickson, I'm thinking about that possibility right now. Because he just got passed on the line. That was the last lap. That's a comeback win, despite Hendrickson kind of holding the lead for almost every time. Now might be the time to make that estimation and go for that slipstream run. Because I think that last sector is so fast, it's going to take it. Joyner holds the lead for now, for the longest he has. But Hendrickson with a good exit. They're side by side. Still running in concert, trading it on the millisecond. Every time one person's ahead, the other one's gifted the inside lane. That's the joy of this track. Running side by side on it. You can do it for so long. Hendriksen's going to win out, though, with that little altercation the two had. I think Joyner's got enough of a run here. Threatens onto the inside. Lots of gravel kicked up onto that sort of outside line running through those turns. We're going to do another lap here, and I bet Joyner's going to be leading by the line again. It makes it quite the strategy game, and Hendriksen knows that races like this happen. Joyner is leading by the line again. That was 400th of a second in it. Cash and Istad sort of playing the same game with each other. Will be about 3 laps to go. Hugo Zegelmans trying to make it round Graham Why do I always go Graham Rory Hunt? It's Graham Rory Hunt. But if any of this pack can stay in range of each other, it's all to play for. Here's Istad. Got some distance to make up. It's not quite the same as the battle up ahead. But I'm afraid I'm pulling an Nostradamus here. I'm sort of seeing how I think this is going to go. Only 3 more times across the line. Not even 3. I think it's 2. It is 2 more times across the line. And if anyone understands the game right now, it's Joyner. Technically, iRacing will say he's led every lap of this race. In fact, that was the fastest of the whole race. Istad pulls the same trick on Cash. Now Hendriksen, he's really ducked behind again. Am I being fooled? Is he being fooled? Is this the double bluff? I don't know what to make of his strategy. But both drivers have been racing with a level of respect and talent you don't see often, side by side, for this many laps. This has been such a good display of battling at Zandvoort. And they're certainly not losing enough time to care about, because Istad is doing the exact same thing with Cash. Bit of a jump over the curb there for me and Joyner. Bit risky, because all your exit speed matters, and a bit of snap oversteer to count as well. That was not quite how you want to run that. That was acceptable. That was a little bit scary. I saw a bit of a snap on exit here. A good save. Difference between possibly winning or losing this race. We're on the final lap. And now here's where the drivers can use everything they've learned. This race has been very, very unique, and I think I can see how this is going to go. And it's up to whether Hendriksen is going to try and let it happen, or he's going to try and fight it. So I think the driver in second takes first on the line, unless there is an amazing draft break, which could be pulled out too. We do not forget. The two behind, they've been doing the exact same game. Istad and Cash, they've been trading places every single lap. That pack behind just wanted to keep an eye on them. Make sure they're behaving themselves. I hear some taunting on the mic. I hear some games being played by Tim. That's the sort of thing he would do. He's backed off before the final turn. Is he going to hold it? They're so close now, touching wheels. All that matters is that this slipstream run is blocked. And I actually think he's positioned his car just about perfectly. No, he has not. Joyner is going to be ahead on the line exactly as it could have gone. Although that was a valiant attempt to kill the draft. It's Cash in with the fastest lap. Well, something like that was due. So we saw every single lap. Hendrickson was ahead all lap and behind at the line. Every single time. So the scale of the draft was a make or break. How did he play this third sector, though, to try and keep it from happening again? He does try and give up pace. I think both drivers are now running slow. Every little corner was like within risk of death here. And side by side, he thinks this is going to be fine. But I just think the tiny amount of momentum on the outside converts it. Ian Joyner proves that you have to be an S1600 regular to win the SOF, maybe. Perhaps. I heard some complaints on the mic about this one from a voice that I can recognise, so I'll play David Whitehouse colliding with I believe this is Hugo Zejimas. I'm not going to get it right. No point. I said it back 60 seconds, so I'm afraid I've really shot myself in the foot here. A C18 making a crazy. Stuart McCann makes a big dive. Gotta say, I love the little number plate on David Whitehouse's car. The round circle behind. Oh, that's the spin. And that's the mistake with the 15 car, if you go. Seems like a mistake to me. But these things happen. Let's get some finishing results up now. Because for a real strategy game, I'll say, that was a real strategy race. And it could have, honestly, Hendrickson had a plan and was within 400ths of making it work. William Joyner beats him to the line. Alexander Istad beats out Christopher Cash in a much more straightforward duel. Daniel Tufts finishes 5th with Nato Brown. In 6th, Nick Aronson. In 7th, Lewis Lagreve. In 8th, with Graham Rory Hunt. And I almost got it wrong again. In 9th, with Hugo Zegemans. In 10th. David Whitehouse finishes 11th ahead of John Young, Mark Knight, Jeff Marionetti, Peter Maddox. Stuart McCann, Owen Paul, and Patrick Bardet. Do I have a few drivers to talk to? In fact, we have are both of our top two. I'll speak to our P2, speak to our P1 driver first, and we'll run back a little bit. Good evening, Alexander Istad. I, for some reason, pulled you in thinking you were the P1 driver. And that's my mistake, but we're sticking with it. So, Alex, talk to me about your race. You two had quite the back and forth duel, and it was quite hard to follow two at the same time, really. But it was very much a bit of a slipstream game on the start finish. Were you playing strategies and games with that? Well, one of the things that really made this race shine was the ability for those two packs to run side by side so well. Any thanks to shout outs or anything else you want to leave before we move along? Thank you very much, Alex. Good to see you perform, and hope to see you again soon. Well, now we should do it in reverse order. So I'll take Tim Hendrickson and we'll go 3, 2, 1. Tim Hendrickson, I've got to say it was a surprise to see your show. That was a name I hadn't seen in a while on the grid. And you chose to make it an invasion. It was fun. It was fun. Well, your side-by-side racing was spectacular with Aeon, but it started going very much one way with the draft down the start-finish straight. For how long were you aware of this, and what were you trying to pull at the end? Because you almost pulled it off. Or you proved how it was done, even outside of your usual stomping ground, which was a lot of fun. Any other shout-outs or thank yous? It's Frederick. All about. I mean, I'm waiting for the V's come back, but I like my low-powered local. Okay, stream's dead now. We won't talk to Ian. Okay, well, thanks for the race. Hope to maybe see you again one day. That was great. And Ian Joyner, our winner. What a spectacular side-by-side running. So, as I said, very similar to Tim. That was a race where the strategy of how to win on that line became quite clear for quite a while. Were you playing for it, or were you just trying to go hell for leather every lap because you were able to go side by side the whole time?
And going for it everywhere, and the same, yeah. So obviously could have sat behind, but would have been a lot less fun. I mean, he did drop back on the last thing, so the last time to the chicane, so we ended up side by side pretty well anyway. But yeah, it was always going to come down to that. So credit to Tim, really amazing driving side by side. Really glad we got away all clean. It's so hard to do that. I've done a bunch of these races over the last couple of days, so Tim's coming in probably way colder than me, so it's just a lot of fun, really. Yeah, great to get the win, even though it's almost 50-50 who's going to be there. Fun to race.
All right, I've got very red cheeks now because I've been shouted at by 4 people back to back that I put you guys on the wrong voice channel, and you're the first one that's actually been heard. So congratulations. The other 2 didn't even. I was speaking to a brick wall.
Oh, good.
Very much. Come back, Tim. Come back.
Give him a shout.
But you told a lot the story of the race there. Any other shout outs or thank yous?
Just thanks to broadcasting it. I know it's you can't please everyone with a time slot, but for me at least, this is doable. The other one isn't. I know you can't please everyone. So yeah, thanks to everyone who's put the time in to put in the broadcast out there. I've not done too many this season, but yeah, it's fun to be back. Thanks to Tim. I don't know if I've ever raced with Tim before. I'm not sure if I've ever been on track with him, but I've obviously seen his results. And he was just really good fun to race with him. Thanks to the field.
Well, great to see you out there. Hope to see you again. That was a good race and a good win.
Cheers, Eric. See you again.
And also, I've invited Tim. Tim, I'm not running it back, but I've just invited you to heckle me for that one.
Oh, that was not very good, Harry. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm bloody trophy for that bloody interview. I gave it absolutely everything I had. After such a tiring race, very little left in the tank, and you just cut me out. All wasted energy.
I moved all the yesterday. I moved Discord to a different audio output channel because I was doing something else.
He's going to blame his virtual inputs. Oh, laddie fucking da.
It's the one I leave muted, and I didn't check which one the people were coming out for until halfway through the final interview. I mean, what are we even doing here?
I understand. It's fine. You try. You do your best. Well done, lad.
One of those days. I just thought I'd definitely hear it from you at the very least. I now have a show to wrap up and cry about it for the next 2 hours. All right, good stuff. All right, so with that said, and we're done. Now, also keep in mind that if I had a co-commentator, they probably would have been muted for a bit. Although I would have also fixed the problem sooner because I would have realised. So think of it like that. I'm going to take some feedback on the community server about the time slot. I personally think that this suits a lot of the Europeans better. 10:45 is a very, very bad time to race, but I'd like to hear from all the people that participate. Next week, I'm not here, but I've left you in capable hands. The broadcast will be covered on the channel. Check the Discord and the YouTube event for start time. We have some great coverage of some great commentators and broadcasters I trust. So you should still be getting your forwards as we head to Brands Hatch Indy, which I used to big up, and then Beatrice has ruined for me by putting on such an unbelievable GP race. I don't think I can ever really enjoy it ever again. Maybe that's why I'm gone. Nah, I'm in Monaco for Formula E. We all have our indulgences, okay? So we will see you on this channel next week, no matter what. And until then, have some great racing and have a great week.